Alright folks, we've made it to the end of yet another month. Congratulations. Let's take a look back at the top 5 guitars of September 2021. Hello ladies and gents, Jack here from Peachy Guitars, and as I said before, we've made it to the end of another month. As is customary by this point, we like to round up several of the fantastic guitars that we've seen come through the Peachy Guitars doors this month. It's been a pretty good one yet again. I don't know where they keep coming from, but they do just keep on piling through, and I keep getting to sit down and play them. If you haven't seen many guitars from us recently though, that's because they now live over on our sister channel, the Peach Boutique. That is where all of the guitar listings take place, where I get to sit and play each one of them so that you get an idea kind of what they can do tonally. They're all linked from our website listings as well, but that is the place to go if you want to hear the guitars in action. We like to port them back over here in the form of picking out our best favourite top 5 from each month, so that you get a little smattering of what we consider to be some of the best of the electric selection. Okay, I want to start things off with one of the real surprise hits from one of my favourite brands, Suhr Guitars. This year they've decided to really honour their legacy and kind of put a pin in exactly what they consider to be their kind of forte in the market. They've given us 3 different ranges of limited edition guitars for 2021 into 2022, and every single one is an absolute home run as far as I'm concerned. The most kind of visually striking, and I think the one that will resonate with most people, is kind of the guitar that takes them back to the company's roots. Back in '84, John Suhr designed and built his first electric guitar for himself, and it kind of took on the guise of what became the standard Suhr model. For this year they've decided to honour that by introducing the standard Legacy, and the guitar that I've decided to include in this list is one of the coolest looking electric guitars I think I've ever seen. It's a really sleek pelham blue finish, standard Legacy model with EMG pickups and a Goto 510 bridge, an absolute dream to play, and it looks every bit as good as it sounds. Okay, filling in this month's PRS spot is one of the greatest looking guitars I've ever seen, not only in the shop, but I think in my life. This one really wowed everybody when the case was opened, of a McCarty 594, but as is usually the case with PRS, they always do something a little bit special. This was the 10 top, beautiful quilt top as well, in cobalt blue, and to top that off, it has this matching cobalt blue flamey maple neck. It's just one of the most visually incredible guitars. Maybe that's not your thing, and maybe you've always kind of veered away from the likes of PRS when they come out with these very, very kind of ostentatious aesthetic guitars, but I think you really do have to just sit down sometimes and appreciate visually what they can do. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but as an instrument itself, I think it's always important to highlight that PRS make just some of the very best in the world. They've kind of conquered both elements of a guitar's design, the tone and the looks in full force. And something else I will just point out about all McCartys, in fact, and this guitar is a fantastic example of this quality, they just kind of do everything that you want a guitar to do, or at least that I want a guitar to do, tonally speaking. It's got a really beautiful clean tone that's really kind of shimmery and very clear, and then when you do put some overdrive on it, it thickens up in a really nice way. They kind of started to embody the best qualities that old Gibsons and old sort of other 60s and 70s guitars had, where they have that kind of dried out tone that everyone seems to be going for, where you just want the wood to really resonate and speak. PRS do that, and they make them look like this as well, so that's really a win-win. Now, as I teased earlier on, there's 2 additions from the Fender Custom Shop in this month's list. I really couldn't let either of these slip by because they're just 2 very, very cool instruments and really striking. When I got to play them, I really thought this is what it's about. This is what the Custom Shop is here for. So this first guitar is kind of the polar opposite of the next guitar in the sense that they're both Telecasters, but this one really embodies a very kind of glamorous 70s spirit. We often kind of attribute 70s Fender guitars to being this kind of rather bleak period in their history. And not to everybody, but a lot of people associate it with the kind of the brown colours, the beige period, if you will. They're kind of just a little bit forgotten. But this one is a great example of the Custom Shop having a little bit of fun with their heritage. It's a 70s Telecaster Custom in this pink and purple Stardust finish, which is absolutely gorgeous. We put it on Instagram and it was a really, really popular guitar on there. It's definitely one of those kind of really visually striking instruments, but tonally as well, it really, really works. A Tele Custom has a totally different kind of sonic profile than a regular 50s or 60s Tele, in my opinion. And this guitar, being outfitted with a Bigsby and a wide range humbucker in the neck as well, just takes you to totally different places than you can go with a regular Telecaster, and yet you still feel at home on one if you are a dyed-in-the-wall Tele kind of fan. So it's a great looking guitar, it's a great sounding guitar. There's a theme running here in this month's selections, but here's Fender's offering for that very cool mixture of aesthetics and tone. Right, so on to the second Fender Custom Shop offering for this month. Now, I said earlier on that there's two Telecasters. I technically lied because this is an Esquire, but it still falls under the same camp. And it's one of the coolest Esquires in history. I'm talking about Joe Strummer's new master-built, Jason Smith-built recreation of one of Joe's famous guitars. Joe Strummer, punk icon, really, really important musician for a lot of people. And so Fender have decided to honour that with this master-built guitar. Now, it's definitely a bit of a contentious guitar. It's not for everybody. It's very expensive, it has to be said. It's definitely one for the collectors. But as I said earlier on, I really want to just kind of highlight the importance of this thing as an instrument. That's the great thing about guitars, is that you can either choose to buy guitars to play them, you can choose to buy guitars just to stow away and collect them, and either is totally fine. But you always have the advantage, if you are just in the collecting game, that it's a great instrument as well, and it can be used for its intended purpose whenever you see fit. And this is a great example of what Fender stinging bridge pickup can truly sound like. Okay, so last guitar we're going to talk about this month is a very, very fine example of a Gibson Custom Shop recreation. They're really on a trend of doing this right now, and they're doing it very, very well. Probably better, I would say, than any other company at the moment. They're really just delving into what makes artists' instruments so unique and alluring to so many people and recreating them to a T. They've done this for decades now, but with this latest version of Jerry Cantrell's wine red Les Paul Custom, it's one of those things that it really feels when you pick this thing up like it is a time capsule, and it's like you've just found a great example of a 70s Les Paul Custom in a pawn shop or something like that. But obviously it's got all this cool associative history with a great guitar player, really iconic musician once again. I really enjoyed just treating this thing as a proper rock and roll workhorse. So in the playing clips that you're going to hear, it sounds every bit as good as any other kind of 70s era Les Paul Custom that I've ever heard or played. But obviously it's got that really nice, cool, collectible association with a great guitar player. And, you know, reality is that that's kind of the world that we tend to live in these days. We really kind of appreciate the instruments that some of our favorite artists have used. And these companies are really going out their way to meticulously recreate them for us. And it's just great to get the experience that the artists themselves get, because these things are very limited. This guitar is one of 100 pieces, and it's exactly the same as the instruments that those guys will be playing themselves. So that's very cool, and I think Gibson, as well as Fender and the other brands that I've talked about on this list, once again, have mashed together the perfect blend of a great aesthetic with a great tone. Alright folks, there we are. That's this month's top 5. What do you think? Do you agree with the choices, or have you, as I often say, have you seen other things on our website or on our Peach Boutique channel that you think should have made the cut instead? Whether you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments section down below, and while you're doing that, let me know which of these 5 guitars stood out to you the most. I think this was a pretty cool kind of eclectic collection. All of them had the same kind of attributes going for them. They all just sound fantastic. They look fantastic. And it kind of surmises, I think, some of the breadth of the kind of instruments that we get here. There's so many different avenues that you can go down. But at the heart of it, I think the instruments that appeal to most of us, most of the time, are just the ones that really kind of sink into your bones and just become a part of what you're trying to express as a musician. This is getting very deep and very kind of wallowy, but I think that these 5 guitars all do that in a totally different way. And ultimately, those different directions are what makes playing guitar so interesting. So thank you very much as always for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and hit subscribe and ring the bell if you're new to the channel. We've got plenty more cool content coming soon, so ring the bell so you don't miss out on a single drop of it. If you want to find out any more information about any of the 5 guitars that I've talked about in today's video, or any of the other stock that we've recently taken on board, then you can find all of that information out on our website, peachguitars.com, linked below. And as I said, check out the Peach Boutique channel as well if you want to hear them put into action. So thanks for watching folks, take care, we'll see you next month for another top 5. Bye bye.